Thank you, Minister. Senator Ruston.
Mr President, my question is to the Assistant Minister for Social Services, Senator Fifield, representing the Minister for Communications. Can the Minister please update the Senate on the NBN's progress in delivering broadband upgrades to all Australians sooner, at less cost to taxpayers and more affordably to consumers?
Order on my left. Order on my left. The Assistant Minister for Social Services, representing the Minister for Communications, Senator Fifield.
Thank you, Mr President, and can I thank Senator Ruston for her question, and I can indeed update the Senate. But first, let me remind colleagues of the miserable and misleading promises that Senator Conroy made when he was minister. In 2010, you'll recall, Mr President, Labor claimed that within 3 years they would get to 1.27 million houses with fibre-to-the-premises network and 283,000 premises with a fixed wireless network. What happened, Mr President, is they barely reached 16% of that number, which I think most colleagues would agree is pitiful. Mr President, instead of taking the approach of Labor and making outlandish promises on the back of a napkin, or I actually forget if it was a napkin or a coaster, but I think you get the general idea, Mr President. We've taken the time to get the company rolling out in a predictable and an efficient manner. And I can inform senators that yesterday the company released its national rollout plan for the next 18 months, which shows that we're getting on and getting these upgrades delivered sooner, at less cost to taxpayers and more affordably for consumers. Importantly, in the next 18 months, Mr President, the company will start construction in areas covering an additional 1.9 million premises. This is a credible and realistic path forward. And the simple fact of the matter is, Mr President, if you do the groundwork, you can deliver the results that Australians need and deserve.
Thank you, Minister. Senator Ruston, a supplementary question.
Thank you, Mr President. Can the Minister outline progress for end users, especially those in underserved areas?
Minister.
Mr President, the plan demonstrates the significant progress that we're making. By June 2016, 1 in 3 Australians live or work in areas where the NBN will be accessible or the rollout underway, a far cry from the 2% of premises with access to the NBN after 6 years of the previous administration. The plan shows we're delivering on our pledge to prioritise underserved areas. Around 19% of premises included in the rollout plan are considered as underserviced and compared to 16% nationally. We've also more than doubled the number of serviceable premises who have access to NBN's fixed-line network since the election, and this plan will include 1.79 million premises in the fixed-line network, where the NBN will start rolling out prior to June 30, 2016.
Senator Ruston, final supplementary question.
Yes, thank you, Mr President. Can the Minister outline how NBN-Co's new rollout plans benefit rural and regional Australians?
Order. Minister.
Mr President, we know that those living in rural and regional areas often have the worst access to broadband services. The rollout plan shows our commitment to rural and regional Australia, with almost 1 million premises outside of major urban areas covered. Of the areas receiving upgrades to their fixed-line network, more than 800,000 are outside of major urban areas, which is almost half of the total rollout in the fixed-line footprint. And an additional 128,000 premises in the bush will be upgraded with the fixed wireless rollout. In terms of the fixed wireless network, a network neglected by Labor, we've more than tripled the number of premises passed since the election, going from 39,000 premises to 135,000 premises. And there are another 97,000 premises where the network is currently being built, and another 128,000 premises which will see construction begin in the next 18 months. Mr President, we are getting on with the job of delivering fast broadband for Australians, particularly those in rural and remote areas.
Thank you, Minister.